Okay. Can y'all hear me now? Okay. Let me know if you can hear me. So I'm trying to just make cinema layout. Why does this thing want to be difficult? Press shift, it says. All right, I'm pressing shift. Nothing's happening. Press shift. Oh dear. That's weird. Edit layout. That is weird, y'all. Okay, well, I think that's the only way I'm going to, hold on, let me try. Oh, I think you can hear me, right? Let me check on my phone. Technical difficulties. Please stand by. Technical difficulties. Please stand by. Okay, did y'all hear that? Clearly you can hear me. And if you can't hear me, please comment and tell me you can't hear me. Okay, so I apologize. I am not showing my face right now, y'all. I have not even gotten dressed today. I'm in my jammies. I've barely run a brush through my hair because I'm trying to get all the club files ready for you guys for October and also for Club Create a Kit. So I've been working on those. So I have paint already on my fingers, and we are going to do our paint tutorial for September. And today I'm going to paint for y'all the little letterboard. If you saw on my Facebook page, I posted one of our Christmas letterboards a little while ago. I'm planning on getting some new letterboard sets made for this holiday season. So stay tuned for that. If you have not made a letterboard before, we have several different designs in our shop. One of them is Glowforge Basic Friendly. So I'll show y'all in just a second here. So the way these letterboards work is that to make it easier, I prefer to cut the letters out of whiteboard, because this is whiteboard. Because when you engrave whiteboard, you don't have to fill it in with anything. And if you lightly engrave it, it's brown. And if you engrave it a little bit deeper, it's black. So depending on what color you're going for, what look you're going for, I just do it kind of like a lighter engrave. So it's kind of like a dark brown. It cuts and engraves so nicely on my Thunder laser. I have done it on my Glowforge before. The settings, I have the settings posted. I will put them in the comments when I'm finished today. I believe I put them on your supply list for this month. But if I didn't, I can also update the supply list with the settings for Glowforge as well as for what I use on my Thunder laser. And I have a 100-watt Thunder laser, just so y'all know. But this just makes life easy because you don't have to do any masking. Now, this is a mini letterboard, the Sweet and Spooky one that we did for September. But I have others in my shop. Sorry, y'all excuse the banging around. I'm in my closet. Okay, so this one is our large hexagon letterboard. Now, this one you cannot cut unless you have a pass-through door. It doesn't fit on the Glowforge bed. But I do have this rectangular one that is designed to fit Glowforge Basic. So if you don't want to use a pass-through door, if you don't have a pass-through door and you want to make the bigger letterboards that you can slide the letters on, and see how you can slide them around like that. We do have this one that's Glowforge friendly. I also have a round one in my shop, and that one, it's like a bigger, it's just like this one, but it's bigger. That one is not Glowforge friendly either. The only one, oh, there's like a little baby spider. Ew. The only one that is Glowforge Basic friendly are either the minis or this rectangle one, okay? So if you don't have a pass-through order, you're going to want that size. All of the sets, the little holiday sets that I have, theme sets, they all work with any of the letterboards. And when you purchase the big letterboard sets I just showed you, like the big backers, all the alphabet letters come with them. Whereas like for this month, you just got the letters that spell sweet and spooky. Okay, does that make sense? Now, this one I did not do whiteboard for the backer because I'm going to do an ombre look on here. And because y'all know I love to do ombre painting. So we're going to do an ombre purple on here. I just thought that would be really pretty for Halloween. And then what these are is you have three wide bars, okay? And then you have three narrow bars. All of this is 1/4 inch wood. You can cut these out of 1/8 inch, but you're going to want to probably cut 2 of the smaller bars to make your ledge stick out a little bit further so your letters can slide freely, okay? But I guess if you're doing your letters out of 1/8 inch, then maybe you don't have to do that. So the way that this works is that, see how you have this score line on here? You take your narrow one and you attach it here, right on the score line. And then you take your wider one and you glue it so that the bottoms line up, okay? So this bottom is lined up. This top is the ledge where the letters go, okay? So they set down in there and then they can slide. And so do the little decorative pieces, these little candies that we're doing today, okay? And then this one also has this frame that goes around it. So does that make sense? Y'all please tell me if I'm not explaining this well. But yeah, so this is a mini letterboard. So if you are just starting out, this is actually a perfect one to get you started. You don't have to do the pattern on the back, like the bigger ones that I showed you. If you don't want to do that pattern, you can just, tell your machine to ignore it and not do it. I just think it gives it a little bit of, texture and little something extra. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going off script here. These are not the colors on your supply list necessarily. We are going to do something a little different. So I've got Lilac Meadow and Magenta, both by Deco Art, and then I have my just white. So let me get a clean plate because this one's got different colors on it from something else I was doing. So y'all comment and tell me what you are, what you're working on today. Are you at work? Are you at home? Let me know what you're doing. My white is clogged. I keep having to unclog it. I need to get some more white, actually. This is getting low. Come on out of there. All right, so I'm going to start off with my darker color, which is what did I say that was? Magenta. Let's start off with that, and we're going to just go along the bottom. So whether you're watching live or watching in the replay, comment and tell me what files you are most interested in seeing. in the upcoming months? Are you a door hanger person, a shelf sitter, um, banners, letterboards? Do you like the engraved signs, the shakers? Let me know what you are into. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and just not rinse my paintbrush, and I'm going to dip it into the Lilac Meadow. And I'm just going back and forth to kind of blend these two colors. I just think this is kind of a fun way to branch out of just plain old, solid color painting. You really can't mess it up. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and dip my paint into my white, but I'm not rinsing my paintbrush, so I still have purple on my paintbrush. So I'm just going to lead into the white. I'm making it just like a lighter lilac color. Why is the camera doing that again? That is weird. That is so strange. There. I don't know why it did that. I'm telling y'all, technology has not been my friend this week. It's never really my friend. And I'm just going back and I'm grabbing a little bit of white and then a little bit of the lilac and just going back and forth to get the look that I'm going for. Now I'm going to go more white. Until we're pretty much almost all white at the top. And then I can go back down here at the bottom if I want and add a little bit more lilac and try to blend these some more. Excuse me, goodness gracious. That came out of nowhere. See, it's a good thing I'm not showing my face today. And I'm going to get my brush wet. I feel like it will blend better if it was a little bit wet. And then I'm dipping back into the darker paint. I don't want it quite so dark at the bottom, so I'm going to do a little more blending. Right. That's where my fingers were. I'm just fixing that edge. Just keep blending until you get it like you want it. All right, I think that is good. So that's what we have to start with for now. And set that aside. Make sure we have all our pieces turned over here. I've got some little flaws in my wood because I try to use scrap wood when I'm making stuff for my own use. And I'm going to paint all of these white. So if you want, you could have cut these out of whiteboard too. Whiteboard makes things easier and quicker, and it's pretty inexpensive if you can dial in your settings for it. A sheet of whiteboard at Home Depot, which is where I find it, both here in Louisiana and also when I'm home in Virginia. A sheet of whiteboard is $7. It's like 7 and some change. And it's a 2x4 sheet. And you can get them to cut it down for you if you can, find somebody working in that department who doesn't tell you that the saw is broken. Or you can cut it down yourself. Lowe's used to always say their saw was broken. That was like an ongoing, it's like the ice cream machine at McDonald's. Whether it was really broken or not remains to be seen, but sometimes I think they just were too busy to deal with it. So they would tell people it was broken, but who knows? Are you guys watching anything good lately? I am watching Virgin River. That's back on. Although I keep seeing spoilers on Facebook. That's my own fault. I shouldn't read the posts when they pop up, but I keep seeing spoilers. And I can't help but look. We watched The Lioness on Netflix. I think that was on Netflix. Or no, was that on Netflix or Paramount? I can't remember. That was good. All right, I'm going to give these one more coat. But let me go ahead and paint my candies first, because those really need to dry some before I put any more paint on them. All right. Okay, so this color that I'm pulling out is called Parakeet. It's by Apple Barrel from Walmart. So I'm going to paint the back of these white, just do like a quick thin coat of white, just so my colors pop on here. Sometimes it just makes certain colors a little brighter. As you can see, everything's scored on the ones that have lines on them, just to make it easier to paint. All right, let's see. Let me think what color I want that, because it's going to be against the purple. So I got the green, and I might should I stick with green and white or should I throw in some orange? I'm still debating. I could throw in, I've seen people throwing in some pink with their Halloween stuff. I might throw in some pink. What do y'all think about that? I just think that would be really cute. I don't know. It might not look very Halloween-y, but this doesn't have to be a Halloween sign. It says sweet treats. So really it could work for anything. Let's see. Would that look good with my purple though? The pink and green. Maybe I'll just stick with my orange and green. Sorry, I'm being indecisive today with my paint. All right, let's see. What are we going to do here? Right, I'm going to start with this piece. Now the bottom's not going to show, so you don't need to really paint the bottom. I just usually do the bottom just white, just to have some paint on there. All right, we are going to do like this. And I kind of want to darken up that green a little bit. Let me see. It might be that another coat will make it the color that I want, but I want that green to be brighter. Let's see. My eyes are playing tricks on me. All right, I think once we throw a little bit of black and white highlights in there, this will look like I want it to look. Sorry, my paintbrush was wet. All right, we'll let that set and then we'll throw some highlights in. Do you guys decorate for Halloween? Do you decorate for fall? Comment and let me know. I'm going to leave some of this white in here and just add orange, kind of like that. Some orange streaks. Why does my camera keep doing that? What in the world, y'all? That is so aggravating. See how quick this is to paint? You have whiteboard for the letters. All right, we'll let those dry, and then we're going to add some highlights to them. And in the meantime, I'm going to go back and put a little bit more white. Put those together. I can just do them all at the same time. There we go. Oh, you guys, don't forget, since it's almost the end of the month, your half price September 2022 files will only be half price through the last day of the month. So what is that, Saturday? What is the last day of the month? 27, 22. Yeah, Saturday is the last day of the month. So the link is in the Facebook group. You can go into the membership portal and get last year's September files for half off, which means 4 files for just $10. So that's a really good deal. If you want to grab them, though, they're only on half off sale through Saturday. And then you'll get your October files, and last year's October files will be the ones that are half off at that point, and you'll get a new coupon code for that. All right. All right. Ooh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Making a mess. Should not let those dry together. They'll stick to each other. Come on, quit flipping over. There we go. Okay. All right, I'm going to do a few little highlights on these. I'm taking a tiny little brush and some black paint. And just adding a little interest. Making these look more Halloween-y. See that? That's my Halloween candy. Now I'm going to go back with my white and go really close to my black to add some more highlights. Black and white just really bring a lot of dimension to your projects when you go back and add highlights. I always do black first, and then I go back and add a little bit of white on top. I don't know if this one needs any. I think I'm gonna leave that one alone. This one does. Okay. Now we can put it all together. Quick and easy. All right, so we've got our base, and this reminds me of the ghost shaker we made. Was that last year in the club? We made a ghost shaker, and the backer looked similar to this with the ombre. Add our frame. Okay. So now we're going to take our smaller pieces and put them on first, the narrow pieces. Now you can actually glue them either way. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to glue them, like you can flip them on their side, in other words, if you want to. If you want that like cleaner edge to be on the bottom. Just these small pieces you can flip either way, not the big pieces. I need to hold this frame on here for a few seconds so it'll stick. So like if you want the white that you painted to be like on this bottom edge instead of on the top, because you're not even going to see it on the top. You really didn't even need to paint it. I'd forgotten about that actually. You don't have to paint that bottom piece. You can just paint the tops. I think in the past I have turned this on its side so that the underside of it is what's painted. Does that make sense? So like in other words, instead of like that, you could turn it like this, because then you see the white on the bottom and it just looks cleaner. But I'm going to keep it this way because the other one's this way. Make sure that's straight. Yep. Okay, last little piece. Let's see how it's scored for you, so that way you won't get them on there crooked. I know I would get them on there crooked if it wasn't scored. Okay, so let's do our big piece first. So I'm just going to put glue on here. And then line up the bottom edges. Okay, and then the last one. Okay, so that's our letterboard, and then we can put our letters on. These are engraved, the letters are engraved towards the top, so you have a space at the bottom, so they don't go, this way, they go this way. So we're gonna do sweet. Treats. Just like that. You can squish them together if you want to. So let these dry first, but make sure that you don't glue your letters down. Like they'll go down in here, but you want to make sure you don't, I don't want to glue them down in there. So, because I know there's some glue that's still not dry in there. See, I'm going to glue my pieces in, telling y'all not to. So don't shove them down in there quite yet. I'm just letting mine sit on top until I know that's dry, and then they can go in there and slide. I'm just gonna let them sit right on top there. Okay, so then you can move your pieces around and put your candies on here, just wherever you choose to do that. Let's put this one down here because it's smaller, just like that. And they slide around on there. So that is your Sweet Treats Mini Letterboard. Super cute and easy. All right, you guys. Well, that was our tutorial for today. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I'll come back and check. And thank y'all for joining me today. You will get your new files in your email, so be on the lookout for that on Sunday, first thing in the morning. And the files for next month are so pretty. I cannot wait for y'all to see them. Hello, Clara. How are you? So the first few people, I cannot see your names. Those of y'all who have commented above Clara, I can't see your names. It just says Facebook users. So you do need to click the StreamYard permission button so that I can see who you are. Otherwise, it just says Facebook user. Because I'm only live in my SVG Clubhouse. So when you're live in a group, StreamYard has some sort of disclosure agreement with Facebook where you have to allow permission. So be sure you click that button, and then I can see who is on here and who's watching. All right, thanks for joining me, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.